Generation C. Who the hell are Generation C? Well, they are unique. They are digital natives. They are people who love communicating digitally and being part of a digital world. It is a psychographic. It is a psychographic because it's ageless. It's not about being young or old. It's the first time in history we've had a generation that's psychographic, and it's growing. Just as people get into digital communication, so Generation C is growing. Now, I was going to cover this week how you target Generation C influencers, but something really simple and more important. And I'd also like to thank Sarah Newton and Hello Sposhima for getting in touch with me. And part of that conversation was all about who are all these different generations. And I'd like to make it really, really simple for everybody to understand who the different generations are. There are boomers, there are Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z. Whatever magazine you read, whatever source you go to, they'll all say their ages are different, and it's unbelievably confusing for everybody. So, we're going to make it really, really simple. Are you ready? 2 questions. The first question is, the most important thing about generational studies is that it's all based on trying to find the kernel of common experience. Now, the kernel of common experience gives a generation an aspiration, something that they all collectively look up to being part of. So, here's a really simple way to understand it. Boomers. Boomers were all about, in terms of digital format, vinyl. So if you want a shortcut to understand whether someone's a boomer, you ask them what was their musical format. And for boomers, it was vinyl. For Generation X, it was tapes, Ultravox and Frank being 2 examples. For Generation Y, it was CDs, moving into iTunes, and shortly afterwards, MP3s. Now, Generation C are unlike all the others, and there's a very, very good reason, because core to Generation C is not only the desire to download and listen, but to share their music and talk about their music. And Last FM is one of those brands that allows you to do that. There are others out there. So for Generation C, they're not just consuming, they're actually wanting to share, they're wanting to understand, wanting to explore and share each other's tastes. Which brings us to the last point. A new study by Anderson Analytics, undertaken and commented on by Advertising Age, underlines this difference between Generation C and the rest. Generation C, the Twitterers who are Generation C are known as superconductors. They're more likely to be entrepreneurs, they're more likely to have a broader range of interests, and this is really important, they're more likely to like coffee. In other words, Generation C are the global bohemian generation, the global influencers that never have been connected before. And that means they're very, very, very different to the other we've talked about. So, the last and very final point is this. There's a new generation. A demographic generation called Generation Z or Z, depending on where you are. These people were born after 2001. So guess what? They don't really have a music format as yet, because they're still relatively small. So, thank you for listening. We'll carry on our exploration of Generation C, and thank you for all your contributions. Bye for now.